Hello and welcome to another video or episode, depending on whether you're watching this on YouTube or listening on your favorite podcast player. So today's topic is prompted a little bit by a post on a Facebook group, an online Facebook group. And it was coming from the perspective of a parent rather than another leader. And in essence, they were asking, they're new to forest school. Their child may well be attending a forest school, probably through school. And the question they were asking was, how does forest school support academic achievement? And now, I'm probably not alone in this, as many other forest leaders are probably having the same visceral reaction to that, which is immediately to go, no, that's not the point. And yes, in an initial response, what you're talking about there, if it is explicitly targeting academic achievement, then it is outdoor learning rather than forest school. If you are going out and doing biodiversity surveys, that is directly related to academic learning, and it is outdoor learning. If you happen to talk about a tree, for example, the rowan that I'm walking underneath now, then within the context of forest school, then that may well be more forest-like. There's still learning happening, but it's not as purposeful. So the thinking there is, okay, first of all, we need to differentiate forest school and outdoor learning. They are two different things. Forest school and bushcraft are slightly nuanced and different. But while the learning might happen, it is not necessarily about the learning. What forest school does is it, to use everyone's favorite word, it develops holistically. It basically means that it looks at a person or a child as a whole being with lots and lots of different facets of development. So rather than just looking at one tiny little area, which is academic development, you look at social, emotional, physical, mental development, all of the other developmental streams. So we focus on self-esteem, we focus on, say, developing empathy, we focus on all of these other things that are important ingredients to being a human being and being a good member of the community, and in its essence also being happy. So it's important for us to differentiate the purely academic learning from the wider, more well-rounded approach of forest school and other outdoor pursuits, because the outdoors, it teaches us more about things, teaches more things than academics. Nature is a wonderful teacher in many ways, and you can get a lot more purposeful about it as well. It just interacting with things, nature at a deeper level, does help in many different ways to building resilience, to building self-esteem, confidence, all of that. But that is not to say that developing all of that doesn't affect academic achievement. So the closest analogy that I could think of was when I was back in working in a store. So I worked as a retail assistant and manager and whatever within outdoor retail. So I worked for some of the big outdoor shops, and quite a few of them, the focus, there would be targets, there would be key performance indicators, things that you can tell whether the shop's doing well or not. And there were some supervisors within that would pretty much just give us free rein, just go make customers happy. And there were others that were then looking really carefully at the sales and going, oh, we've got this, we're this far from target, this is what our target for the day is, we want to do at least 5,000 in sales today, this is how far away we are, get on there, get talking to people. And when I then became a supervisor, I was involved in that side of things. I tried to, I would look at the figures and I'd be aware of them, but the figures, while they were the goal, because the store's goal is to make money, like very many other businesses, its focus would everyone's focus on it achieve that? Yes and no. To me, the money that came in was the indicator of doing the job well. So how do you make money? There's a couple of different ways within a retail environment. You could be really predatory and salesy and try and sell people stuff that they don't need, but long term that's going to hurt you. Or you can just do your very best to take care of every customer, to make them feel welcome, to understand their needs, to give them advice, recommendations, and occasionally send them somewhere else if you can't offer them the thing that they need. If you do that right, sales comes in. Your store earns money. So developing the customer and doing all of those things will eventually lead to the sales. Whereas just focusing on sales itself doesn't necessarily yield more sales. Telling people to sell more does not always yield in actual increase in money coming in. In fact, sometimes it can have the opposite effect. And this is where you can probably start to see the parallels here. That when we are talking about a child's development, academic achievement is a result of a happy, confident, and mentally and physically healthy child. If the child feels confident in themselves, if they feel able and to make decisions in their life, if they are physically fit, if they are being taken care of well, and if they are embedded and they have a good social network and they have support and friends and all of that, that will make them achieve better. We see that all the time in the data. That's the reason why when you go into researching educational strategies and so on, you know that some of the variables you're going to have to control are to do with a child's background and home situation and a myriad of other things, because a child is more than their academic achievement. So this means that we need to start that the holistic development may well lead to the achievement, because it's just down the line. It's also some advice that I give to new home educating parents, because when they first take their child out of school, their immediate thought is panic. How can I prove that learning is happening? How can I make sure that they have the same structure and they're learning just as well as school? And go, yes, that's important, but you're asking the wrong questions in this situation. The questions you need to be asking are, how can I be better than school? And in most cases, that means supporting your child's holistic development, spending some time on social, emotional, and mental health, getting your child relaxed, confident, feeling like they can take something on, building a love of learning, and then approaching learning with fresh eyes, with a fresh mindset, and a willingness and an interest in learning. Because the truth is, you can't make someone learn. And this is something that is stuck in my mind for a recent episode of the Forest School podcast. Had an absolutely amazing guest, but I can't remember the name. Don't take it personally, but I don't remember anyone's names from podcasts and things. But absolutely amazing guest, but there was one bit that really stood out. And he said there is a difference between compliance and engagement. Compliance is just doing what you're told. Engaging is a higher level. It is actually wanting to be there. It is wholly and fully taking it on. And too much of what schools look for, and when they're looking with this mindset about educational achievement, is they are looking at the compliance. How can I make the child do what I want to do? Versus the other way, it sounds the same, but a little bit of nuance, is how can I encourage and support them in doing things that will be beneficial for them long term. And a lot of that is that social, emotional, mental health, is that physical health, all of the bits at the side, all of the bits that school cannot properly nurture in many ways because it is a strictly academic institution. Those are the areas where Forest School and that kind of outdoor bushcraft element really shines. It is in developing the bits and pieces that school struggles to do, and that often, to be honest, in today's world, that parents don't have a lot of time to do either. So it's supporting the whole development, because a happy, healthy person is there to learn, wants to learn, and will go on to do amazing things. But we all know that a person who's struggling with mental health problems isn't going to achieve their full potential. So there we go. That is my thoughts on academic Forest School. Trying not to use the word holistic as much, because nobody outside of the space knows the heck what we mean by it. I hope you found useful in your thinking. I'd love to know your thoughts. Do reach out and let me know if you have a particular perspective on this. Otherwise, I have CPD days coming up and a relaunch of my online Types and Arts course coming soon as well. So if you're interested in learning more about that, do follow me on Facebook and Instagram. I do put posts there occasionally, as well as in Facebook groups, and I have a whole big mailing list. If you'd like to know more about that, do get in touch at info@brackenoutdoors.com. With that, thank you so much for watching and listening. Remember to make the most of every day. I'll catch you all next time.